Welcome to the Game of Life podcast, where we bring you inspiring softball stories, insightful tips from coaches and players, and explore how the game transcends its boundaries to become a metaphor for life. Whether you're a sports enthusiast, a casual fan, or someone just looking for inspiration, you're in for a treat. We'll unravel the tales that go beyond the scoreboard. Discover how perseverance and hard work on the field translates into resilience in your daily challenges. Learn about teamwork, leadership, and the unwavering spirit that fuels success, not just in sports, but in the game of life. Did you spend more time when you were an athlete, did you spend more time thinking about what you want to do to succeed or what you think you need to do to succeed in the eyes of others? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it kinda changed throughout my career. I think when I started playing, it was kinda, the latter there of, what do I think I need to do or what are people telling me I need to do? And as I kinda progressed throughout my career and got older, it was more of, okay, like, what do I wanna do? And I think, when you're young and you're not really sure where life's gonna take you and where you're gonna go, it's kinda like, well, what is everybody telling me I need to do? Because that's what I feel like I need to do. And then you kinda get older and you kinda start to see what's important to you and you kinda start to see what you want, and then you can pivot to, okay, like, I care a little bit less about what everybody else is telling me because I know what I want and I know what I need to do to go get it.
No, that makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, you live life, you have one shot at it. Like, who cares what anybody else thinks on your journey? But when you're younger, I think you think everybody cares, even though they're not spending more than 2 seconds on you.
Yeah.
But you spend all the time thinking about how everybody else thinks your journey should be. And it's a superpower if you could just not care.
Well, I'm thinking of like multiple instances throughout my career and my life where people had opinions. For example, like, oh, what travel team are you playing for? Are you sure about that? Well, what about this? What about that? Did you guys think about this? I don't think that's a good idea for you because blah, 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 blah. The next one that comes to mind is, I'm just gonna go straight to college of why are you going to that school? You traveled all the way across the country to play in travel tournaments, and the college you're going to is an hour away. That seems like a waste of time. Like people say things with no meaning behind it or no thinking of like, oh wow, like what do you actually want and what do you want for yourself? Like when, every year we had conversations of, okay, do you still like playing softball? What travel team do you want to be on? What are the pros and cons? And going to college, like that was one of, if not my top school that I was trying to get into. And when I got into it, I was ecstatic. So having people, come around and say, oh, like, good for you, I guess, or having whispers, behind the scenes of all this stuff, I'm like, you know what? I'm happy. So sometimes I don't know like where those things come from people. So I think that's the part where it's like, I'm happy and I'm the one that's living this every day. So at the end of the day, right, people can think whatever they want, but at the same time, as long as you're happy and you know what you want and you're confident in where you're trying to go, I think that makes you a lot more secure in like the decisions that you're ultimately making.
Very well said. Social media, right? Now, my next statement I want to say in all caps, if that's possible. Okay. When people hate on others in social media, it's saying more about them than it's saying about you. But when you read it as a person, you think they're attacking you. No, they're just pretty much shouting out to the world, I can't do that, so I'm going to hate on you. And as soon as you learn that, it's absolutely a superpower. And we know behind the scenes, there's been multiple instances where we've been attacked by people. I'm not saying we're like superstars or anything like that, but we're just going about our lives, doing our thing, being optimistic, trying to get through the day. And when people make negative statements online, it's more about them.
Well, I agree. I think the comment section's kind of like a mirror, honestly. Like
Yes.
what are
Ooh,
you what are you
nice.
giving away? Because I can go on social media right now and I could only comment on the stuff I like, or I can only comment on the stuff I hate. And one of them is going to lift people up and the other one's going to tear people down. And I think it comes from like what that person's feeling inside of what they go and comment and what they go shed light on. And I think the interesting part is most of the time when you see people do stuff like that, they have no problem doing it over the phone. But if you had to have a real conversation with them in real life, it would go so much different, like so much different. So I just always think that's really interesting too. And I remember like another example in my life was, after college, I decided to move to Chicago. And I know a lot of people, and you can attest to this, were like, oh, like you didn't like where you grew up, you're moving, or like, oh, like how's your family feel? You're not close with your family. And anybody who knows me just knows that's not true. So people just say these things all the time. And I think it's coming from a place of like not being curious almost. It's just judgmental as opposed to asking questions of like, oh my gosh, like how did you come to that decision? Or tell me your thought process. Are you excited about it? So I think to me, it's almost just like a curiosity problem and more of an assumption.
Crabs in a bucket. That's all I'm gonna say, right? People try to pull each other down. And you know, when I hear stuff like that, it's not an IQ thing, okay? There's IQ, intelligent quotient, and then there's a curiosity quotient. And you're not smart because you can memorize things. You're smart because you're legitimately curious about everything you come across every day. And when people make decisions, if you don't curi if you're not curious, just question what they're doing, ask them why they're doing it, maybe think, geez, maybe that's going to lead me to make a decision that's X, Y, or Z. Then, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't really have any space for you in my life. I know that's harsh. I'm older than you, so sometimes I feel like it's easier for me to differentiate that because I just see it right away. But I'm like, I don't have time for those people.
I mean, what about you in your life? Do you feel like you've had moments where people were judging you? Like, for example, like at your golf career after college, like just things like that.
Yeah, play golf every day in high school, and I was cut at one point. Well, why do you want to keep doing that? Well, I like golf. I go to play college, then I transfer. Why are you doing that? Well, I think I have a better opportunity in another school. Then I go on mini tours. Of course, that's not good enough. When I come home, oh, guess he didn't succeed. Okay, I mean, if that's your narrative and then you do your thing and then I get into teaching. Why do you want to go teach? Like teachers are people that can't do anything else. Okay, well, now I'm coaching people and 28 years later, here we go. Why don't you coach golf? Well, my girls grew up playing basketball and softball, so I've developed a like for those sports, a curiosity, what we were just saying. Every pivot in my life has come from a combination of just thinking it's the right moment to do that, and then literally being curious about exploring something new. Like, I feel sorry for people my age, I'm 53, they keep saying, oh, I could have done that, or I wish I've done that. I don't have time for that. What? Go do it. Like, why at 53 can you not do that? I mean, besides being like an astronaut or a NBA athlete or something like that, like, go do it. I don't have any patience for it. So people have doubted me my whole life, and I'm not saying doubted me because I didn't go pro or go make $1 million. Every time you make a change because you're curious about something and you want to explore something that you think is going to bring more meaning to your life, people don't like that because again, they are looking in the mirror and saying, well, if he does that, how am I going to justify me not doing it?
Well, that's the thing too. And I feel like one thing I've always tried to keep in mind, and I've learned this as I've gotten older too, is most of the people who criticize you when you make decisions never are the ones that are checking in on you or checking to see how you're doing. They like to say, oh, why would you do that? And then they don't care if you're happy or not. They're just saying
Yeah,
it to say
they don't
it.
care.
So that's why one of my favorite quotes, and I've thought about this recently, is like, don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from. If you don't want to take advice from them, you don't trust them enough to listen to them and go to them for help, why do their words hold weight when they're criticizing you? And obviously that's easier said than done, but it's something I truly try to think about when, I get criticism. Obviously the first step, and we've talked about this, is reflection, but then the second part is like, well, where are they coming from in their life that I would want to, take that from them?
That's one of my favorite quotes. Don't take advice from people. Don't take, wait,
Don't,
criticism from
yeah.
people that you wouldn't take advice from.
Yeah.
But we do all the time. And the biggest place we do it is if you get victim to reading the comments in something you post.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it you want I'm torn. I've talked to people that say when you post on social media, don't read the comments. Well, I disagree with that because if someone's leaving a comment that warrants an answer or some way you can help them, do that. But I think you really have to differentiate. Like you have to answer the comments that warrant answering. And then you just have to separate like almost those people are dead to you in a sense because they're just looking in the mirror when they say something negative.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
mean,
not saying it's easy, but I think it is necessary if you're on social media.
honestly, my first thing I think about, and this is gonna sound harsh, is like if I post something and somebody posts some like comments something bad on it, I almost like feel bad for them because I'm like they
Yeah.
just seem miserable that like they're scrolling through here and doing that, and so it's almost like you have to know like it's not even about you at that point. Like it's just, something that they're struggling with and it's so hard, but I feel like at the end of the day, if you think about I'm going to ask you this and I'll self-reflect too and all our listeners out there can self-reflect. How much do you think about yourself in a given day?
Myself,
Yeah.
all the time.
Right. So everybody's doing that, right? But then we're also worried about other people, what other people are thinking, but you just told me you're thinking about yourself. So it's just this cycle of like, what do they think? And like I'm pointing at you, you're pointing at me, and then we're all pointing at each other. Instead, I could just be focused on myself. So, and I don't mean focused on myself in like a selfish way. It's
Right.
more of like, what image am I portraying? How do other people view me? Am I funny enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I fitting in with the right crowd, like all that stuff, when everybody else has all the same thoughts in their head. So instead, if we stopped worrying about what everybody else was doing and just decided to lift each other up and compliment each other and focus on ourselves, imagine how different all of our relationships would be.
Well, it's funny you say that. I've been saying this statement a lot that I got from your sister Jenna, who we need to have on the podcast, but she goes to bed at like 4 in the afternoon. I'm joking if she's listening. But when things aren't going my way, or if I don't agree with somebody or something's out of my control, even when I'm coaching, today I hit one of the trees on a hole playing golf, and I never do that. I just go to myself, God bless.
Yeah,
Like I mean, nothing I can do about it. When someone's hating on me or commenting negatively or someone disagrees with me, I just tell myself, God bless. And I literally pray for those people. And
yeah,
I don't pray for them because I want them to agree with me. I just pray for them because you're like, you know what? If the center of your day revolves around what I do, then God bless. I feel sorry for you. And
yeah,
then if the center of my day revolves around something bad that's happened to me, that was our last episode, having a bad day, then God bless. Eh,
yeah.
like what's the point? Let's just keep moving forward. So that little phrase right there, it really helps me get through everything.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a thing today that was interesting, and it was a guy that came online, and he was like, I think everybody after they graduate high school should have to spend a year volunteering in hospice.
I
Because,
saw that, or you
yeah,
sent it to me.
yeah,
Maybe you sent it to me. I can't
yeah,
remember.
I did.
But
I just sent it to you like 2 hours
okay,
ago.
I watched it.
But I thought that was interesting because he's like, you will 100% live your life different because time's gonna become more important to you. What you care about's gonna become different to you. Who you spend time with is gonna change because you're seeing all these people, at the end of their journey on Earth. And they're saying, oh, I wish, I would have done this. My advice to you is this. And it's just gonna change everything because ultimately, like I feel like our biggest gift that we have here is time, right? So anytime you give time to things that you shouldn't be giving to, it's kind of taking away from what your purpose is and what you're meant to do. So the more time we spend thinking about what other people think we should do, it's taking away of us actually acting and like doing what we were put on this earth to do. So to your point, I love the God bless. I do that all the time. I'm just like, okay, moving on. Like, God bless. So I definitely resonate with that.
Uh, I mean, my father, your grandfather passed away when he was 61. I'm 53 and a half now.
Mhm.
And I was by his side the last year, like literally almost like hospice.
Yeah.
And every time something's going wrong, I'm like, or anytime I want to try something new, or anytime, like when we started this podcast, or your mom and I started the business we're starting, or I go coach softball 2 years ago, like, what's happening? Like,
Yeah.
what are you waiting for? Like, who
Right.
cares? Just go do things.
So is what you mean, just to clarify, what you mean by
Yeah.
don't care is like, oh, if, I take a risk on something and people are gonna forget it 2 years from now anyway. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Like like the one that comes to mind for me is like I started posting on TikTok like 6 months ago. I started posting softball content. And I think some people originally were like, "Oh, haha, like that's funny." And now like I love it. I have like a community of people who comment on my stuff and they're like, "Thank you for sharing this." And it's just been really cool because I love softball, obviously. But I like posting life stuff too. And it's just been cool to kind of see that grow. And I'm kind of like, okay, if the only negative from this is that I have a few people pick on me with basically limitless potential upside, that seems
Right.
like something that I am okay with. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I get what you mean by don't care. It's more like, okay, if, someone's picking on me now in 2 years, like they're not even going to be thinking about it anymore. Is that what you're
Well,
talking about?
yeah. I mean, and again, you've had a couple TikToks, 100,000 plus people, and then you look at a comment and one person saying something. It's like, okay, bro, like read the room or read the TikTok or no
Right.
one cares what you're saying. You're just going around trolling people. Obviously, this post has helped so many more people than it's hurt.
Right.
And you, but some people were afraid to go out of our way to do something or post something or say something or serve people because we're afraid of what that one person might do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what I'm saying.
No, and that's obviously like a sillier example. Like there's bigger life examples like you gave
Yes.
too of like I'm gonna move, I'm gonna switch my job. That's a big one. People get judged for all the time. I'm gonna, start doing something different. I'm gonna go back to school to be something different. Whatever it is.
Yep.
But I think you just gotta keep in mind if it's something that makes you happy and or helps other people, then any pushback you get from it, you have to kind of take with a grain of salt.
Well, I'll even go a step further. If it's something that makes you happy, that doesn't hurt other people,
Mhm.
like just go for it,
Yeah.
And if it's something that makes you happy, that's not taking energy, resources, or time from anybody else, then what's the difference? Just go for it. And if
Yeah.
someone comes back on you hating you, well, then they're using their energy, time, or resources for that, and then God bless.
hmm I mean, something I've done before too is when people get, I guess, when people get like unjustifiably mad at you, like really nothing happened and they just kind of like lash out at you. I'll go back to them a day later and be like, hey, just wanted to check in. Like, is everything
Mm,
like going okay because I think it's so easy and like this is how so many friendships end because somebody lashes out. It's not even about the other person. The other person lashes back because they're mad in the moment and then they never talk about it again. Where really like the two of you together weren't even the problem. It was some external factor. So one of you just kind of has to be the bigger person and say, "Hey, what's going on?" Because I feel like that wasn't really about what you said it was about. And if it was, maybe I'm wrong and we can talk about it again. But also, like we've all done it. There have been times, even growing up, something's happening and you were trying to help me, and I'm like, "Nah, like whatever." So I think everybody does it.
Did I ever tell you I learned that lesson in seventh grade?
No.
Sitting in English class, and my buddy, I don't want to say his name, goes, "Watch this." And he takes a piece of paper, hits a kid in the head with it. He goes, "I'm going to get these two kids that don't even know each other in a fight by the end of the class." And the kid looks around and nobody shows anything. Then he takes a piece of paper, hits a different kid in the head with it. And he's looking around, and my buddy points to the kid that got hit in the head first. And then he hits him again, the other two. Now they're both looking at each other because my friend's pointing to both of them, even though he threw the paper. And by the end of class, they run outside. It was at the Horseheads Middle School. I still remember the classroom. We walk outside and they start fighting and they both get suspended.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I thought it was funny as a dumb seventh grader, but I'm like, that's really bad.
Yeah. Oh my.
Uh, but there's a microcosm. I learned like, maybe look around and be aware before you just start blaming the obvious and let it manipulate your whole day. It was a
Yeah.
great lesson. Like it's almost like it was, I don't want to say divine intervention, but it was like such a great lesson that's led me to everywhere else I go that, someone cuts me off in traffic. Like it's not getting hit in the head with a piece of paper, but I'm like, all right, deep breath. They could
Yeah.
be coming from a different spot, and I'm glad I'm not injured. Like nothing's gonna happen. I'll be at my destination 2 seconds later. It's not the end of the world. Like if both of them would have just taken a deep breath and talked and said, "Why you hit me with a piece of paper, bro? I didn't hit you with a piece of paper. Who did that?" And then maybe me or somebody with a little courage would have pointed to the other guy, and he would have got his ass kicked. Pardon my language,
Yeah.
but it was a
It's
great
just
lesson. I didn't mean to ramble. I mean, last week
no,
was the
that's I
skunk.
can't believe you
This
never
week's the
told
piece of paper. Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't believe you never told me that story. That's funny, but
yeah.
I also feel like that's a prime example of like why you shouldn't act in anger because
Right.
you better be dang sure that the person you're angry with is the one who deserves it. Like, that's again, now this kid just they beat each other up for no reason.
Yeah, and
So,
and usually when you're angry at somebody, it's not their fault.
well, sometimes it is.
Yeah, a lot of times it's not. But anyways,
Yeah,
all right. Listen, uh,
this is a good
I
one.
th I think at the end of the day, you just have to worry about yourself. I mean, I don't mean don't worry about other people or care for other people or serve other people. But I mean, when it comes to thinking about yourself and other people, be kind and think about yourself and not worry about what other people think before you take action. Just go do what you think's best interest for you and everybody around you.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right. Hey, we have a guest next week. It'll be fun. And I think we solved some of the world's problems tonight.
All right. See ya.
Bye.